Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. This is episode number 15. I'm Krysti Rosario in Los Angeles, here with my co-host, the boxing prophet, Richard Solomon. Later we'll be joined with our panel guest, Reggie Jones from Las Vegas. And on today's show, I will be interviewing our three-time world champion, Reggie Johnson. He's coming up right in a minute. And then later, we have current featherweight world champion, Mikey Garcia. And we're going to also talk about Froch and Kessler. I'm sure you guys are waiting to talk about that. Great fight. And then possible opponents for Miguel Cotto. And then we have Profit's pound-for-pound list. So that is all coming up later. But right now, I want to...
I'm here.
Okay, we have the Prophet. Hope you're well. You doing okay?
Doing great. It's pouring outside in New York City, but there's nothing I love more than to talk boxing with you, so I'll survive.
Okay, well, it's beautiful and about 75 here at the beach today, so I'm excited, and I want to introduce who we have, Mr. Reggie Johnson. Are you there, Reggie?
Yes, I am. How you doing? Thanks for having me. Thanks for sharing this platform to speak to the boxing fans the world over. Thank you.
Oh, we are so excited to have you, Reggie. You're here with myself, Krysti Rosario, and the boxing prophet. You say hello, prophet?
The boxing prophet?
Yeah.
How are you, Reggie?
I never talked to a prophet before. A boxing prophet. Wow.
There's a first time for everything, Reggie Johnson. Glad to have you on the show.
Prophet, you sound a little echoey. Is that just the prophecies that are coming through your head, or is it your audio?
Is it better now?
I don't know.
Could be the audio.
Okay. Well, we are very excited to have Reggie. And, Reggie, you came on the show. I'm so happy to have you. How's your day going today?
Well, it's a trying day, but a good day. I'm above ground instead of underground. I like to pay respect to my one of the father figures in my life who passed away last week, and I'm speaking at his funeral. He's boxing community, passed into Hollywood. Oscar Skip Davis. He died last week at the age of 86. So we're going through that. It's been a trying last 2 weeks. I've had 4 people in my family die. But, life moves on, and, we got to keep going.
You had 4 people. Wow, my condolences. That's very sad.
Yes, within the last 3 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a hard 3 weeks. I'm very sorry, and I appreciate that you're coming on here with all this going on in your life. So tell us about Oscar Skip Davis.
Well, Oscar Skip Davis, he was a professional fighter himself, turned trainer. He was an awesome photographer. I think I've mentioned this to you. I think I emailed you some pictures. I'm a huge collector of pictures. I love frozen time pictures, as Oscar Skip Davis called it. The man traveled the world. He had a beautiful life. He'd seen the world, pretty much did it all. He was a great trainer, great friend, great father figure. Man, he was a people person. He was a magnet to people. People loved him. And, he's going to be missed, but, he'll live forever. He left a lot of memories for us to through frozen time and the people that he touched, lives he touched.
Now, how were you affiliated? He was your cornerman? He was your trainer?
Well, he's a part of all my 7 titles, including the 3 world titles. I met the man when I was 13 years old. Taking pictures, giving it to the parents, and I used to always kind of talk him out of pictures, and I used to always tell him, all right, now when I become champion of the world, you're gonna be with me, you're gonna be working for me. And, you know, when I moved to California in 1989, he was there with another fighter, Pee Wee Parker, and I ran into me, and he made me stay true to that statement. He said, hey, wait a minute, you remember those pictures I gave you and you told me? And, you know, we've been together ever since, I mean, as far as him traveling with me.
Well, let's tell everyone.
So be careful what you say.
Be careful what you say. Well, what I like about you, you know, is you remember what you say. You know, there are a lot of people that aren't quite as loyal as you, and you're very loyal. You started your pro debut in 1984. That's correct, right, Reggie?
Yeah.
Okay, so you started in 1984, and you pretty much kept a tight bunch with you. You had a tight corner, didn't you? You had Chato Robles, who I knew personally, and I liked him very much as well. And why don't you tell us about the guys that were around you for so many years, helping you, training you?
Well, there was a lady named Josephine Abercrombie who came to Houston from Kentucky, and she built a huge gym here in Houston, Texas, where I was born and raised and from. And she started signing all these fighters. Man, she talked to Holyfield, Tommy Hearns. It was a huge outfit. She had a lot of money, and she did everything first class. And I was an amateur then. She had the guy from Dallas, Cedric Rhodes, who was a good fighter. All them guys was here. A lot of fighters came to Houston that she was going to sign. And during that time, I was getting ready for I was traveling with the U.S. team, and I made it to the Olympic trials, and I lost to Frank Tate in the quarterfinals. And when she signed Frank Tate, my mentor went and found someone else for me to sign with. And, you know, I pretty much kept a tight group. Actually, Chato will forever be my chief trainer. I met him when I moved to California in '89, chasing my dream of becoming a world champion. But I've worked with a lot of great trainers, Hall of Fame trainers. One in particular I like to point out, a man that I don't really understand why he's not in the Boxing Hall of Fame. All the fighters that world champions he trained and got to world titles, Jesse Reed, who lives in Vegas now. But I worked with quite a few trainers.
Well, didn't we talk about, Reggie, how can Rocky be in the Hall of Fame and not Jesse Reed?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's amazing, and you know, boxing is in and out, and people talking about the state of the game. You know, the Hollywood in boxing, the politics in boxing. You know, when something like that happens, you know, it makes you wonder. I can't take anything away from Sylvester Stallone in his arena. He's a great actor, and he produced some great stuff, and I love all the Rocky movies. But when you step into the real boxing arena and get inducted into the Hall of Fame because of what you specialize in, making movies, and then think of all the great fighters who are not, and the great trainers and people affiliated with boxing who are not in the Boxing Hall of Fame. You know, it makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder. It does, and you're right.
Yeah.
I love the Rocky movies too, just like you. But you know, you had great trainers, and I don't know if any of them are in the Hall of Fame. You do, but you know, what do we do? You know, politics and everything. I hate to say. So let's go back to your corner, because I think it's very interesting how you had such a tight group, and you had Gennaro Chicanito Hernandez during your Antonio Tarver fight in the corner with you. Why don't you tell us how that came about?
Well, when I moved to California, later I ended up training at LA Box, and I met Gennaro, his brother, and, you know, we used to train together. During that time, it was right around the time Sugar Shane had turned pro. And I used to see him and Gennaro go at it every day, you know, training, sparring, the days that they sparred. And, you know, we all became good friends. You know, everybody clicked in that gym, and there was some great fighters came through there. And, you know, later on after, you know, Gennaro had retired, he ran into Gregory Sanders, a guy who lived in Long Beach, who pretty much handled a lot of my. He's more like a road manager, handled a lot of my business pertaining to boxing. Called me one day and said, "Well, listen, man, I ran into Gennaro. Man, we need Gennaro. He got a lot of experience. Let's bring him in on the team." And that's how the whole thing came about. And he came in and worked with me with Tarver for the Tarver fight. What a great fighter! What a great guy, and another guy that would be truly missed, man. He had a lot of class.
Truly missed. The people's champion, Gennaro Hernandez. That's for sure. Chicanito.
Yes.
That's where we all met.
I think I just recently sent you a picture of him and the boxing writer, the lady. What's her name?
Michelle Chong.
Yes.
But
yes, Michelle Chong. Okay.
She's great.
Yeah.
She is great. And you sent me a picture of all you guys in the red sweats getting ready for the Tarver fight.
Yeah. Like
right?
I said, I'm a collector of pictures, man. There's nothing like
love
frozen
that.
time. Man, I love pictures. I probably got closing in on 17,000 pictures.
Wow. I hope you make an album or a scrapbook or something online so everyone can see it. See all your pictures.
Yeah, well, a lot of those pictures I don't want to put out there because when you put out a picture of Reggie Johnson and Mike Tyson at the age of 16 at the Olympic Training Center, that's one I don't want to really get out there.
I think that's pretty cool, though, that you have so many stories. And you mentioned to me that someone's writing a book for you?
Yeah, I'm talking to a guy named Mr. Amadaro. He wrote 4 books on fighters. The most noted was Ken Norton, the guy who broke Ali's jaw. He just had a book come out on Paul Vaden, and I met him. I met him last year when I was doing a PR tour on the East Coast, Hall of Fame events, and I had dinner with him. And this man been calling me for a whole year, and he's anxious to get started with this book. And I'm going to probably dedicate a lot of the time to this book when I go to training camp.
Why not? You have so many stories. I mean, I knew you during the LA boxing days, and I knew all the guys and women that came through there and boxed. Layman Brewster, like you said, Gennaro Hernandez, Rudy, Victor, Shane Mosley, Layla Ali. I mean, there's so many stories, don't you think, Reggie?
Oh, so many stories, and who would have ever thought? John David Jackson, the guy I lost my middleweight world title to in Argentina, a fight that I really felt I won. But later on, he started training at LA Boxing, and I hired him as a sparring partner to get me ready for other title fights. And man, it was just so many great fighters, man. Southern California was good to Reggie Johnson. I miss Southern California. But, there's nowhere like home. I do plan on visiting Southern Cal in the very near future. I still have a lot of friends, a lot of resources out there, and people that I truly love and took care of me when I was out there.
Oh, you have to come back here. It's amazing. And I remember going running in Griffith Park with you and Manny Robles and Chato, all the team up there. You remember Griffith Park?
Oh, absolutely. And, the last time I was in California was at Chato's funeral. And all the time Chato is buried up there. There's a cemetery up there. And the thing that brought tears to my eyes, I know they took a drive around the whole Griffin Park for one more time for Chato before they put him in the dirt. It was very emotional, very touching. And, Chato was a man. You talking about a nice guy, a people's person, man. This guy, all 7 of my titles, he was a part of that, and he was a great trainer, great friend, and a great man.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm friends with his son, Manny. And then his son, Manny Jr., is doing very well in the pro game, as you know, right?
Yeah, I heard he's making a lot of noise out there, and I think Chato grandson, one of his fights, his dad, Lil Manny, sent me pictures of him fighting, and it brought tears to my eyes because I saw he had Chato, and Manny was telling me they just put Chato just in remembrance of his dad, his son's grandfather, but now that name it didn't caught on. Now everybody's calling him Chato, so now that's his stage name.
Oh, well, that's a nice tribute for a nice man, though. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Reggie, we have to go to a commercial, but you'll stay with us, right? Because I want to talk to you more when we come back.
Oh, absolutely.
I know we have a lot of history to cover, and we are going to go over things that you are doing now and the past, and we're going to you're a book, Reggie. You're like a novel. We want to. Okay, so we'll be back with you.
Well, I'll be
Don't
here
go
waiting on you. I wouldn't dare leave. You paying me big? I'll leave that $3.
I'm giving you the big bucks, baby. You don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. See you soon.
All
See you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
This is Real Combat Media Radio. Check us out at realcombatmedia.com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the world's healthiest plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products online on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. This is episode 15. I'm your host, Krysti Rosario, here in beautiful Los Angeles. Now, I forgot to give you the number earlier, so please, if you'd like to call, speak to Reggie or any of our other guests, our number is 347-324-5998. Again, area code 347-324-5998. You can Twitter us at Real Combat Media, Facebook, right in the search bar, put Real Combat Media, or email us at realcombatmedia.com. And then you can come on the show and talk to us, and maybe you could give Prophet a hard time. That would be nice, about his pound-for-pound list later on. And we will be doing a pound-for-pound list. We will be talking about Froch and Kessler and Miguel Cotto and his opponents. So we are going to come on back, and we have Reggie Johnson here. Reggie, you're still here, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to have you back. We are going to get into a little bit of a tough subject, but I know you can handle it, and I know you have things to say. We're going to talk about what happened, okay? We're going to talk about what happened to you. I've read things. I'd rather hear it from you. I know you were convicted of second-degree felony in October 22nd, 2010. Instead of me saying what happened, because I wasn't there, why don't you tell us what happened?
See, it's always good to get it from the horse's mouth. Actually, it was June 2008.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
was wrongly I was wrongly convicted, and I can't go into too deep of the details because my case is on appeal. And this is a fight that I will win in the end. I will endure all that. Well, I've endured quite a bit. 3 years, 6 months, 3 days in jail as an innocent man. And me being able, I would have been able to come home if I would have signed guilty paper, in which most people do. But when I'm right about something, or when I'm in the innocent, I refuse to sell myself out and sell the people out. But it's just another time in my life where one of those deals where God chose me. He gave his toughest test to his strongest warriors. It brought a lot of awareness to me, in which I plan to bring a lot of awareness to our criminal justice system, our youth, and just people in general about the system and the traps. and all these ways of them making money off human heads. I refer to it as modern day slavery. But yes, I was wrongly convicted in 2008. I did my 3 years, 6 months, 1 day as a man. Came out, and the fight is really just starting because I'm going through that whole process, and I know in the end I'll win.
But Reggie, can you tell us though, because like I said, I was reading, and I don't really know what happened. What happened? What are they saying that you did, and why would they put you in that circumstance?
Well, I was put in that circumstance because this is what it was about. It was about Reggie Johnson doing the first ever boxing summer camp. I was training, and all this stuff is documented. You can go just Google my name to fight in 2007. And I made the people that I was dealing with that, listen, I may be fighting in 2007, summer 2007. They said, okay, well, if you're fighting in 2007, we can do it in 2008. So they gave me a check. Told me that I could do the fight in the summer camp in 2008, and then they come back and said that I got grant money and didn't use the money in 2007 like I was supposed to. And the thing is, I had a kangaroo trial, hard evidence that wasn't presented to the court and to the jury that would have otherwise made me walk out of that trial a victorious man. But, I stand on the truth, and I know the truth will always prevail. It could be a month, it could be a week, it could be a year, it could be 10 years, but the truth will always prevail, and I stand on the truth.
So when you say it was like a kangaroo court, could you just explain what they didn't do that they really should have done? Because it'll really help other people understand, like, the system maybe a little bit.
Okay, well, okay. When I first went to court, going to hearings, the media could not come in the courtroom, but they can zoom their cameras in on you. And those pictures you can see when you Google my name, that's what they did. But during my trial, they had curtains put in the courtroom. During my trial, the media was turned away from my trial because some of my people, some of my supporters alerted the media, this and that. But a lot of media came out there. They wouldn't even let them come in the courtroom or come in the courthouse. So things like that. And then there's a lot of stuff that wasn't presented during my trial that stated otherwise. Well, okay, let me give you an instance. They said I got grant money for doing a summer camp I didn't do in 2007. So if you didn't tell me I could do it in 2008, why would you write me a check in October 2007? Isn't the summer over then?
Right. Yeah, right, I hear you.
So things are like this, and these are the type of things that wasn't presented during my trial by design.
So how was it for you in jail? Did they know that you were a fighter? Was there respect there from the other guys?
Well, I don't know if Harris County, they say, is one of the worst counties down here in Houston, Texas. To me, jail was just a place for me to get focused, gather my thoughts. They have good guys. There's a lot of, let me tell you this, first of all, there's a lot of innocent people in jail. There's a lot of people that I can sit down to the table, talk business, and just have real good, strong conversation, positive conversations with. And then there's a lot of knuckleheads. I guess those guys you would say that are institutionalized. There's there. And, of course, a lot of people knew who I was. A lot of the officers who worked there knew who I was. And to see the thing that really was about jail, they had so many females working over men. And the way they handled men, the way they talked to men, it was like they were trying to belittle men. The first thing a woman say, well, there's no more good men left. Well, maybe one of the reasons is because you guys are trying to belittle men. You know what I'm saying? So you had to deal with that. It was, I had 4 altercations that didn't last long, but mainly it was just the whole mental thing of being in jail. You got to get your head right over it and tell yourself, okay, this is what it is. This is how I'm going to do what I got to do until I get out of here. And my way of doing that was going to positive meetings, going to church, reading, and doing a lot of writing.
Well, so you got a little bit something out of it, something positive in a whole very negative situation.
Oh, absolutely. It's always a positive in the negative if you seek it and pull it out. One of the things, it brought a new awareness because, where I'm from, I have a lot of friends. I have even relatives have checked in and out of jail for years. And I remember back in the day, I used to always tell them, hey, man, those people are not locking you guys up for nothing. But now, I've had those shoes on my feet. And I know it wasn't all them.
Right.
We
now you
operating
understand
a modern-day slave camp in the 21st century is what is taking place here in America.
And now for the appeal process, do you have a good lawyer that you feel that will help you prove that you're innocent?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to a whole bunch of lawyers. I got lawyers on the East Coast that I will be visiting with in a couple of weeks. I'm going there for a PR tour and a trip to the Hall of Fame event. And I have a meeting with some lawyers. I'm going to Yale to speak to the athletic department and their legal team. They're supposed to have a pretty good legal program over there. I'm going to talk to them about my case. It's an ongoing fight. Once my name is cleared and my case is overturned, there's still going to be a lot of work to be done. We're dealing with a huge system that's been operating like this for a long time. So it didn't get like this overnight, and it's not going to take overnight for this thing to change. But I'll do my part.
So maybe you were put there in a way to help for other people, huh? Even though it was a painful process for you.
Well, I always told people, listen, man, I ain't supposed to be here, but I'm supposed to be here. You come to a point where you say, okay, I'm here. I'm here for a reason. Sometimes God put us in those situations to take us to the next level in life. So, that was my mindset after being in there after probably about 6 months. I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm supposed to be here.
Right, and you're a stronger man. It sounds like.
Let me give you another example of the system.
Okay.
I refer to this sort of like money laundering. I'm 46 years old. I've never had anything foreign in my body, not even a beer. So why would you make me, for the first time, do an 8-month drug program to get out on first-time parole?
Right.
Now, do you need me to explain it to you? Let me explain it to you. Because if you're in there for TDC, they're getting money off your head. They send you through that drug program, they're getting money off your head. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I understand.
And I've also, talked to a lot of people that had been in there, that been through that drug program 3-4 times.
Well, I'm not glad that you went through this, but I'm glad that you are the type of person that will try and make things better for the next person that this happens to. So, unless you have more to say about this, we can move on and you can talk about what you're doing now. What would you prefer to do?
Okay, well, let me say this here. When you say the positive, you can tell I get emotional when I talk about the system, but let's talk about the positive thing that came out of this. They got a guy named Reggie Garden. He's one of the guys who started Scared Straight. I've been in contact with him. I'm going back to the youth centers. I'm even going back into prisons to inspire those guys who are in prison. And I've always worked with the youth, drug rehab centers and things of that nature. I've always been attached to my community. I've never left the community. And I've always done things in not only my community, all communities. Wherever I went, that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the community that I was raised in. So the positive that came from that is, that even though, boxing for me physically is coming to an end, but now I found a new passion and a new mission.
All right. Well, you said that boxing's coming to an end, but you told me something different. Isn't boxing something happening this late in the summer with you, with boxing?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm coming back, pursuing a 4th world title, in hopes of surpassing Bernard Hopkins. And he upped the ante from 46 to 48. Yes, I am coming back. I really and truly feel that I have there's unfinished business. I also feel that boxing on that level would also give me the platform to launch other endeavors and to address other social mishaps and problems we have in our nation, such as our criminal justice system, the state of youth, and things of that nature.
But now you were saying to me that you're going to fight someone, not someone that you like go to the bus stop and you pick them up and fight. You want to fight a real contender. So do you have anyone in mind?
Well, I'm willing right out the gate to fight anybody in the top 15. I think if you look at my record, my resume, all the times that I've been off. One time I was off 3 years, 8 months. I came back and fought a worthy opponent. I was off for 2 years. I was off for a little over 2 years when I fought Julio Gonzalez, the late Julio Gonzalez. So I know the formula. My mindset that all fights are won in the gym. So that gives me that mindset to say, why fight. We call them in boxing. They call them ducks. I'm not interested in fighting any duck. I'm not trying to start a career. I'm just trying to get back to a world title and use that whole deal as a platform to be heard.
Boxing Prophet, are you there? You hear this with Reggie?
I applaud Reggie for making a comeback, and let me just say, Reggie, that being the son of an attorney, I know that sometimes the justice system is a disgrace, but in the end, the truth shall set you free, and I wish you the best of luck, and I have no doubt you're an innocent man. Followed you as a fighter for many, many years on the tube, and I just wanted to briefly remind the fans how great you were and how controversial a lot of fights that you were involved in were. You won your first major title when you defeated Steve Collins. It was a majority decision, and I remember that fight being kind of dirty. Both you and Steve were both deducted points for low blows. Can you tell us, at the end of the day, winning your first major title, how it felt to be in a rough and tumble fight that was kind of dirty, back and forth both ways?
Prophet, it's kind of hard to just go straight into that Steve Collins fight without addressing the James Toney fight. I think that fight made me than I am today as far as becoming a world champion. That fight drove me. I really fought my heart out and thought I won that fight, and I smarted James Toney in the first fight. But going into the Steve Collins fight, now here's a fight where most people was putting out there. Well, is Reggie those guys who could get there but couldn't deliver? So that fight with Steve Collins was a huge win, and of course it was some dirty tactics in that fight, but that's part of the game. And I know the announcer said that I initiated the dirty tactics, but in reality it was Steve Collins coming in, and that when a guy comes straight at you like that, keep in mind he's the aggressor. It's like Tyson Holyfield. Everybody keeps saying, well, Holyfield was Button Tyson. Man, you taught to put your head down when a guy is charging you. And that's pretty much what I did. And then, sometimes, styles make fights. Some styles make it an awkward fight. But through it all, Steve Collins is a great guy. After we fought, he went over there and became super middleweight champion, beat all the big guys over there on the other side of the water. History was not only made for me, but it was made for him. And I'll never forget this. The next morning, I was checking out the hotel, such as Steve Collins. The man came up and had a long talk with me, and he wished me well. And, the fight was over. And, he went his way, I went my way. And he even enlightened me on some deals with the monies, which ended up being in a lawsuit against my promoter.
Oh, wow.
Well, there is a method. There is a method to my madness, Reggie. I was going to bring up the James Toney fight, but I wanted to dwell on your signature wins before I got to your controversial losses. But now that you mention it, not only was James Toney, you talk, Krysti, about a guy who's like a hard luck type of fighter. I can't remember the last time a fighter lost maybe 4 or 5 fights by split decisions, and even fights that he lost by unanimous decisions. I thought he won James Toney fight, and let's not forget that Reggie knocked down James Toney in the second round of that fight, something unheard of at the time, because Toney was known for having a great shin. I thought he won that fight against James Toney. He lost back-to-back split decisions to Jorge Castro. Both of those fights I thought Reggie won. And also, later on in his career, he also lost a split decision to Antonio Tarver in another fight that I thought he won. So it's just another story of boxing politics keeping a great champion down. Reggie, did you ever think at one point, especially with the back-to-back split decision losses to Castro, did you ever think about hanging up your gloves, basically saying, this is the sport I dedicated my blood, sweat, and tears to, and they're going to rob me like this? I don't need this aggravation. I'll just think of another way to earn a living.
Well, that's one way of responding, but, my way of responding was to always just come back, suck it up, and come back. And now, the great thing about fights on that level, they're documented. The boxing fans know. The boxing people know. The commentators really know. And I tell everybody, I have 4. I call them critical losses. James Toney didn't beat me. Castro, those 2 fights didn't beat me. Now you forgot about John David Jackson. Me and him fought 2 American championship of the world. He did not beat me, and then he didn't go back over there and did what he told Castro he was going to do, go back and defend against Castro. So they stripped him of the belt. So me and Castro fight. That's how that whole thing started, with me and Castro fight. So that kind of gets you to understand the politics of boxing. 2 Americans fighting in Argentina for the middleweight championship of the world. So that points back to the promoter. My promoter sold me out.
And let's not forget, Reggie, when you lost to John David Jackson, all 3 judges had it very, very close. I believe one judge had you losing by 1 point, another judge had you losing by 2, and the third judge also had you losing by 1 point. So even when you lose by unanimous decision, it's still very, very razor thin.
Right. Let me tell you something about that. One of the Castro fights. I remember leaving Argentina. I was going to the airport, and the referee who refereed my fight came up to me and said, "Well, Reggie, don't be mad at me. I was just doing my job." And he had a smile on his face. Now, that same referee. This is the beauty of it. That's why I say you suck it up and come back. Now, that same refereed the fight when I moved up 2 weight classes and beat William Guthrie for the light heavyweight championship of the world. And now that same referee, after I knocked Guthrie out, he came up, "Hey, man, we're glad to have you back." And I just looked at him and smiled. I said, "Cream always rise to the top." So, and he know what I meant. He had that look on his face. Now, you don't do your research and find out who that referee name is, because I'm not going to say it.
I have 2 referees. You got to tell us now. I have Armand Creef or John Coyle. Which one was it?
No, neither one of those referees. You got to do some research. You got to go on YouTube and watch them fight.
Both of those refereed your Castro fights. Okay. Well, I don't know then. What do you think, Prophet? Do you know who the referee is?
Well, hold on. I'll take that back then. No. It had to be the John David Jackson fight.
Okay, let me see then. Okay, then it was Oscar Coronel. Is that right?
No, he wasn't the referee.
For John David Jackson,
now, this referee been refereeing a lot of fights now.
Okay,
he's become a pretty popular referee, but he's playing politics back then. I don't know if he's still playing politics, but he was playing politics back then.
And you're not going to tell us
his name is Steve Smogert.
Oh, Steve Smoger. Okay, I see him. He refereed. I'm trying to think which one. Do you remember?
Right.
I know Richard Steele refereed you with James Toney. Huh. What do you think, Prophet?
Yeah. I think Smoger might have been the official for the Guthrie fight. I'm not sure.
He was. It was William Guthrie.
No, that's what I'm telling you. That's that same referee that refereed the Guthrie fight, refereed my fight over in Argentina, and he came up to me in the airport as I was leaving. He said, "Well, Reggie, don't be mad at me. I'm just doing my job." And he had a smirky smile on his face, and he walked off.
Oh,
and then those years later, when I fought Guthrie, I moved up 2 weight classes and then knocked Guthrie out. He said, "Hey, man, we're glad to have you back, Reggie." And I just looked at him and said, "You know what? Cream always rises to the top. Are you surprised that I'm back?"
And then
it was Steve Smoger.
Oh, okay. Did he reply, or he just kind of, that was it?
No, he had nothing to say. That kind of like shut him down. But he know what I meant, and he had that smile on that smirky smile on his face. Yeah.
The smirky smile. Reggie, before we go, I want you to make sure that you can talk about what you're doing now. I know you're into V3 water. Talk about the Fallen Warriors. So let us know what's going on now, who you'd like to, sponsors or anything you'd like to shout out to.
Well, I'm in and a distributor has done a lot of research on water. By 2030, bottled water would cost $8 to $10 a bottle. I signed on with this group, and right now the formulator and scientists behind this water, with all these minerals, electrolyte, hydrogen-rich water, we've got all the minerals in it. Has been with me in Houston now for almost 2 months. His name is Dr. Stephen C. Hall. He lives in Los Angeles, originally from Mississippi, but has been in Los Angeles for a long time. I like to. Well, I'm not a salesman, so I came up with my own line. I just tell people to drink the water. It promotes itself. I tell people it's the Muhammad Ali of water. This water, Ali didn't need a promoter. He had a good mouth, and he promoted himself. Likewise, the water promotes itself if you drink it. I'm putting together a world tour for world champions, past and present, traveling the world, through autograph signing, meet and greets, and black tie events for worthy charity causes. Got a lot of guys calling me. Like the idea. Got some investors. And we're going to do, as a matter of fact, I'm going to Nigeria in mid-July for a fight to them about bringing some of the big-name fighters over there. I told you I'm working on a book, and I'm also working on a documentary based on my fight in 1988 in South Africa during apartheid.
Oh, wow, you are busy. I wanted to go back with the water, though. You just told me that you were shipping a whole bunch of water somewhere in Africa. Is that correct?
Well, I got people in South Africa. The water, I just shipped some samples, 2 cases of water to Nigeria. I'm going to Nigeria in mid-July. They got a guy over there named King Davison. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. I think he has a WBO title or Intercontinental title. They're having a big fight over there, and they invited me and a couple of fighters over there for the fight and to sit down and talk business with them. The water, the life in the bottle, the water is going all over the world. So I'm talking to people in New Zealand, Australia, the UK, South Africa, Nigeria, even Germany. I got people in Germany I'm talking to.
So the water, is it good for training? Is it just good for everyday drinking, or what is the water about?
The water. Every human being that's walking on planet Earth should be drinking this water. It has all the minerals in it, electrolytes. It energizes you, and this water is dealing and addressing a lot of the diabetes, the high blood pressure, mishaps that we're having. Like I said, it's hard for me to kind of like promote this water, man. But once you drink it, man, your energy level. Now, I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm pretty healthy for my age. Live clean. But from all the years of me boxing since I was 12, my knees and my joints. Since I've been drinking the water for 5 months, and man, I'm talking about 75% better my joints and my legs.
Well, that's good in itself. Listening to that makes me want to drink the water. So what about your?
Well, I gotta get you got a Facebook inbox me your address. I'm gonna send you a case of water.
Well, thank you very much. And I wanted to go on also with was it called the Fallen Warriors? Is that what you're going to travel with? Is that correct?
Well, man. These are fighters past and present. Come on, you think of all the champions that we've had, and we got a lot of fallen warriors. This will help the fallen warriors help themselves. Hey man, you did some great things. You got some great documented fights. You can survive on what you did in the past. So this is gonna cover a lot of.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it's gonna cover a lot of things, man. It's gonna help the warriors. It's gonna give back to the community. It's gonna give these guys to meet and greet the boxing fans, and it's gonna always be tied into something worthy charity cause.
And now you're also mentioning that you're helping the community, the youth in trouble in the community.
Right. Well, I've always been attached to the community. I've never had a drink or smoke in my life. Back in the 90s when I won a title, I was shooting a commercial for drug rehab centers, youth centers, and things of that nature. So that's another thing. My whole legal mishap was pertaining to summer camps dealing with kids, and to put that jacket on me is crazy, because everybody that knows me, that really knows me, know that my heart is with the community.
Well, I was reading some research, and I was reading a lot of comments about you, and you have a lot of supporters out there who they know that you never could have done something like this. You have your ex-bodyguards and teacher. People were just very praising of you.
Yeah, well, I think I got a email from you. You copied and pasted something. Somebody said they hadn't seen me in a while, and
yes,
name called Capello or something. It's a teacher.
I think it was Carl Apollo or something. Was he one of your teachers?
Yeah.
Well, he wants you to get in touch with him.
Okay, but did he leave any contact information?
Oh, I'll look again. It was just on one of the blogs, when they were talking about you and people were praising you, and that's where I guess he took the opportunity because he wants to get in touch with you.
Okay. Man, if you can send me that link to that blog, I'd love to look at it.
I will definitely do that. Now, Prophet, before we let Reggie go, do you have anything else you want to tell him or ask him?
That Prophet is pretty quiet. I never met a prophet that was so quiet.
Prophet, did you?
I'm just taking in all the good things I've been hearing about you. Boxing needs more ambassadors to the sport like yourself. I love talking to you about your career. That there are rumors that the Prophet might even make the trip all the way to Canastota, New York, for next weekend's Boxing Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So if I I love to meet you, man. I love to meet you, Prophet. We might have to take a couple of pictures. I may even bring my own personalized boxing Prophet robe, and you can take a picture wearing it for me.
Yeah. Hey, please come, Prophet. Man, that'd be great. As a matter of fact, you'll get a chance to meet the formulator and the scientist behind this water, Dr. Hall. He's gonna probably come. He's gonna probably come the last 2 days of the Hall of Fame event.
Oh my God! Don't give Prophet any water. He may be doing like the 100 pound for pound list instead of the 30. So you may not want to give him the water. You don't know what's going to happen there, Reggie.
Yeah. As it stands now, I'm working on my traveling plans to somehow get up there, because I think it's about 6.5 hours from where I live, the Boxing Hall of Fame. But my last question to you is, obviously you're a great fighter, and you kind of ushered in a great era of boxing, being in the same ring with Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones, James Toney, and many other great fighters, other than yourself, of course. Who is your toughest opponent, would you say? The opponent that you thought was, the most talented, naturally gifted?
Oh, well, that goes without saying. Roy Jones, I think he's the only guy that I couldn't get to or couldn't figure out. At that time, the man, it was so fast and with hand and feet, by far, Roy Jones Jr. And some of the other guys was talented. I think Tarver was talented. I still can't believe he made 175 pounds. Along with the guy, Castro, he was a typical slugger, puncher, and I've always done good against punchers. Did you ever see the Reggie Johnson, Lamar Parks fight?
Which fight are you?
Reggie Johnson, when I fought Lamar Parks.
Yes, Lamar Parks.
Yeah. No. That guy was a talented guy. Man, I fought a lot of John David Jackson. Was like me, kind of like almost fighting myself. Two left-handed guys. Like I said, fighting in Argentina for the middleweight championship of the world. But he was a talented. I fought some great guys, but by far Roy Jones was the most talented.
Reggie, you were telling me that you had someone sleeping on your couch that was the first person to actually knock out Roy Jones Jr. Prophet, do you know who that is?
I believe the first person to knock out Roy Jones. Well, I believe Antonio Tarver is the first person to knock out Roy Jones.
Well, it wasn't Tarver. I didn't say knocked out. I said the first person to beat Roy Jones.
I'm sorry, not knock out. Sorry, beat, not knock out. Forgive me.
He Roy got disqualified. Montel Griffin.
Yes, I remember that. He hit him when Montel went down and he was disqualified. That's correct. He is the first person. That guy Montel, he moved. He's from Chicago. He moved to L.A. I guess he was getting in some trouble in Chicago. And he stayed with his aunt, and he started boxing. We started going to the amateur show. He ended up winning that Blue Gold tournament, which is a big tournament in Southern California. And man, he went on to the Olympics. And this guy, but I knew this guy because he was kind of chubby then. But this guy was deceiving because the way his height and the way he was built, he was deceivingly fast and he was good. As a matter of fact, I got some tapes. Me and him sparring back in the day. He got me ready for a lot of my world class fights. He was a very, very underrated boxer from what I remember. And,
right.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony now more than ever. So I'm going to make it my business to come find you.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been?
No, I've never been there before. I want to go.
Oh man, you in for a treat, man. You go there, you're gonna be like in boxing heaven, man. You gonna come on. You probably never miss another Hall of Fame event weekend.
I wanted to go in the worst way last year because my favorite fighter of all time, no disrespect to you, of course, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, was inducted last year, and he's my
I was there favorite. Last year. Yeah, I talked to Tommy, John the Beast Mugabe, Hagler, Ray Leonard. Everybody was there. It was great last year. And Tommy and I are good friends. He used to come to Houston all the time. I used to play basketball.
Well, as long as you're there, that's all that counts. And I'll even take a picture with you and the Hitman together. So that would be good.
Okay.
That would be a thrill of a lifetime for me.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, I've seen some of the great fighters there, Mustafa Hamsho. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I won't be there to join you guys, but it's a little far for me from Los Angeles. But I'll be thinking about you guys over there at the Hall of Fame with the Prophet and Reggie Johnson together. Reggie, I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been really, really interesting and very insightful talking to you.
Once again, thanks for giving me the platform to talk to the boxing fans and be heard. And once again, I want to encourage people to go to the website v3water.com and read up on this Life in the Bottle. the Muhammad Ali of water beverages. This is extended life in the bottle, and man, people, every man and woman on planet Earth should be drinking this water.
I think you should say it's the Reggie Johnson of the, it's not the Muhammad Ali. Come on, Reggie Johnson of the water, right?
Well, Muhammad Ali is my hero, so yeah, I got a Muhammad Ali of waters.
Okay, all right. Well, again, thank you, and I hope you guys all go to it's v3water.com, and then you can ask Reggie all sorts of questions about the water. And I hope that you expect, especially right before you're going to fight.
Oh, absolutely. And people can also visit me at Reggie Johnson at Facebook. I'm also at World Champ Time 3 at Twitter.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell everybody before you go?
Well,
just Twitter, Facebook, water, and then you're going to fight. And then we're going to have you on again, Reggie. Anything else?
Okay, thanks for having me, and I'm putting so much work and looking forward to coming back to the ring and hopefully surpassing Bernard Hopkins, concreting myself into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I'll tell you one thing, Prophet. If anybody has anything to do with boxing and has a heart for boxing, once you go to that International Boxing Hall of Fame, your mindset, it takes you to a different level, mindset-wise, of being in that boxing arena, man. You want to do better. You want to take it to the next level, man. It's a beautiful platform. You got the boxing world community all showing up at the same place, man. It's an amazing experience, and I'm looking forward to being there next week.
I'm jealous.
That's what I've been told, and the late great Arturo Gatti will be inducted. May he rest in peace. Virgil Hill will also be inducted. So it's a great class, and I'm sure it'll be a very emotional ceremony for the Gatti family. But I'm looking forward to going just to see photo op for Real Media Combat. So I think it'll be great. I'm gonna carry around a sign that said Reggie Johnson beat James Toney no matter what the judges say.
Hey, don't do that though. James Toney gonna be there.
Oh God, we're gonna start another fight. I better go and referee you guys.
Hey, we can't forget about Let's Get It On. Mills Lane, he's going into the Hall of Fame.
God. Yes,
he refereed a few of my fights.
I know. You're so lucky that you had him as one of your referees. He is just a legend. That is great. That's great.
Hey, I'll tell you something else that happened. When I fought Steve Collins, one of the guys who refereed Ali Frazier's fight, it was his 100th world championship fight when he refereed me and Steve Collins.
Wow. The 100th time that he refereed, huh?
A world title fight. Yeah. He refereed my fight.
That's amazing.
Wow. Arthur McCanny.
Okay. Very cool.
And you know what? I saw him at the Hall of Fame in 2006, I think it was, and I brought that to his attention. He's like, man, you know what? You're right. He said, you're right. I didn't even know that. You're right.
That's amazing. Yeah. See, all this has to go in your book, Reggie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, we have to go to a commercial, Reggie. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll talk to you again
thanks for
soon.
having me.
Oh, thank you. Good luck with everything. Take care.
All right. Have a great day, Prophet. See you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Right. Looking forward to it.
Bye, Reggie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. So we have to go to a commercial. Before we go to commercial, I just want to tell you that you can call us at 347-324-5998, Twitter at Real Combat Media, Facebook, Real Combat Media in the search bar, or email us at realcombatmedia.com. We will be back, and we're going to talk a little bit about Froch and Kessler, and then at 5:15, hopefully, Mikey Garcia will come and join us. I know he's training, but he's going to stop and come and join us for a few minutes. All right, here we go.
This is Real Combat Media Radio. Check us out at realcombatmedia.com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner at Real Combat Media store. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
All right, we're back. Real Combat Media Boxing Radio, episode 15. I'm Krysti Rosario in Los Angeles. You can call us at 347-324-5998 or Twitter at Real Combat Media, Facebook, Real Combat Media in the search bar, or email us at realcombatmedia. Again, email us at realcombatmedia.com. I'm here with the boxing prophet from New York City, Richard Solomon, and Reggie Jones from Las Vegas, Nevada. Richie, you there?
Yes, I am, Krysti.
Okay, prophet, you're still here?
I'm here.
Sorry, I know we had a little, but we are back. And if you want to call again, 347-324-5998. And I want to tell you that I am doing self-defense. It's called Krav Maga, Israeli Self-Defense, at Elite Training Center right here in Los Angeles. It's in South Redondo Beach. If you're over here, you should try it. They'll give you a free week. Just tell them that I sent you. And they do Muay Thai, Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu, Kali. They do a lot of stuff. MMA. You can call them at 310-543-1600 or email them at elitetrainingcenter.net. And we are back with Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. How are you guys?
Doing
Richie
great.
And Prophet. Good, we're back. And, we want to start out before we have Mikey Garcia. We're going to talk a little bit about Froch and Kessler. What do you think, Prophet? How was the fight?
I thought the fight was very entertaining. Not as good as the first one, but it had its moments. I thought the last 6 rounds were great. The first 6 rounds were kind of slow. Kessler was very content on being the counterpuncher, and Froch kind of dominated the early rounds because he established a jab. And it was mind-boggling to me that Kessler wasn't more active, because when he wound up and started to throw punches and combinations, he was landing on Froch. I'm not a big fan of CompuBox statistics, but if you saw them at the end of the fight, Kessler landed over 50% of his power punches. He just didn't throw enough punches, and that's what enabled Froch to win the fight. I had it a lot closer than most people in the mainstream media. Harold Letterman on HBO had it 9-3 for Froch, as did ESPN.com. I actually had the fight scored 7-5. I thought it was very, very close. Kessler was landing clean shots that snapped Carl Froch's head back, but like I said, Froch was by far the busier fighter. And the fact that, the fight was in England, Kessler had to win definitively to get the decision. But I thought it was an inspired performance, at least the last 6 rounds, by both fighters, especially rounds 11 and 12. In round 11, Kessler had Froch hurt, and then round 12, Froch reciprocated and had Kessler out on his feet in the last 30 seconds. Both great rounds. So it started off as more of a technical chess match, but for the last 6 rounds, it turned into sort of like Rios and Alvarado with both fighters exchanging bombs. But ultimately, I think the better fighter won on that night, and it indeed was Carl Froch.
Carl Froch. Yeah, I thought it was a very good fight. I mean, I expected Kessler to do a lot better than he did. I was kind of surprised, but I am not the prophet, so I don't have prophecies on who's going to win. I was just kind of going more on the style that I liked. But at least, you know, the judges definitely got the right person, even though it was in England. The scores were 116, 112, 115, 113, and 118, 110. Unanimous decision. What did you see, Richie?
I didn't think the fight was as good as the Prophet did. I think Kessler's definitely seen his better days. I had it 7 rounds to 5 as well. He just wasn't active enough, but maybe with Froch's change of style, working behind the jab the way he did, he said that he had picked up some lessons from watching Andre Ward's fight against Kessler. Maybe that killed Kessler's activity level a little bit. Other than that, I wasn't real impressed with the fight. The last couple rounds weren't bad. Some good give and take. I think Kessler's definitely seen his better days. I don't see either one of these guys being any match for Andre Ward. I don't know if Andre Ward would be willing to go to England. I know that he's got a great fan base in Oakland, but boxing does seem to be a little bigger over in Europe. I don't know if that would make his paycheck worth going over there for. I know that he is considered the consensus world champion at 168 pounds. He doesn't have a whole lot of options. Carl Froch has definitely earned another shot at Andre Ward. I don't see the fight being any different, though. I think that Andre Ward would pretty much school him, and it wasn't a real exciting fight to watch. I don't know if the rematch would be any different.
What do you think, Prophet? Have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm a big Carl Froch supporter, but Andre Ward handled him with relative ease the first fight. Froch has a huge following in England, so if Ward went overseas, it would do exceedingly well because it would be a pay-per-view fight in England, and it would generate a lot of money for both fighters. And I just love, the ring entrances in England for professional prize fighters are just awesome. I mean, American fighters should take a page from the way Carl Froch came into the ring when he was elevated down from up in the air. It was just great. The atmosphere was great. It's too bad, for the most part, American audiences don't take boxing as passionately as the fans over in England. But I think Froch has options. If he doesn't fight Andre Ward, maybe there's talk about moving up to light heavyweight and fighting Nathan Cleverly. George Groves is an undefeated super middleweight who's also from England that Froch could face. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin said he'll fight anyone from 154 all the way up to 168. That might be interesting. But the elephant in the room, at least as far as I'm concerned, and people have already wrote me on social media saying, Prophet, please just leave it alone. I think if Bernard Hopkins gets by his next opponent, which I think he will, Bernard Hopkins, to me, is a man who takes risks. I think he has no problems flying over to England. And in some respects, a lot of people see it as a mismatch. Froch is a lot younger. He'll dominate Hopkins. But think about Bernard Hopkins' legacy as a true great. I mean, he's already a first-ballot Hall of Famer, but imagine the buzz circulating that fight. If Bernard Hopkins takes that flight to London, England, and beats Carl Froch in England, I mean, to me, it's great. I mean, I know he's boring, and most of his fights are, uneventful because of his advanced age, and he does a lot of holding, but I'm fascinated by that fight. I think it's an interesting fight.
Yeah, it could be interesting with Bernard Hopkins. But, when you were talking about entrances, it made me think of Prince Nassim. Remember him and all his extravagant entrances into the ring?
It was great. I mean, it made people, you either basically loved him or
hated him.
And that's what boxing's all about. You either love the guy or you hate the guy.
Yeah, I loved watching his entrances. You never knew what you were going to get from him, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. That was fun, a lot of fun. But Bernard Hopkins, you can't underestimate him. You can't count him out because he just keeps coming back. The executioner. What do you think, Richie? Bernard Hopkins?
I would love to see it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Carl Froch is already sort of slowly working on an out for that fight as far as talking about a catchweight. And I think this whole catchweight thing has just been done to death. And I don't see why Bernard Hopkins would accept that. He has a belt. He's not the champion at light heavyweight, but he does have a belt. I understand, he could make a lot of money going over there, but I think that with Carl Froch talking about a catchweight and all, I really don't think at the negotiating table that fight will happen. I think that's his out. And I guess I can't blame him because who wants to lose to an almost 50-year-old guy? The fact that Bernard Hopkins is still winning at this stage of his life is awesome, and it's it's like when I would talk to my dad about Archie Moore and et cetera, George Foreman, et cetera. It's great, and he's not the most exciting guy, I agree, but the fact that he is still winning and dominating fighters half his age is great, but I just don't see that fight happening, and I think that Carl Froch would rather go for some of his local guys, Cleverly, Groves, et cetera, because I know he could make big money with them over there, even though over here it's like, well, who's he fighting? Well, it doesn't matter because he's going to make big money pay-per-view over there fighting these guys, and I don't think he wants any part of Bernard Hopkins.
Well, what do you think about fighting Andre Ward? Do you think that would happen?
I don't think it will, just because he basically feels that he fought Andre Ward in Atlantic City, which is by no means anywhere near Andre Ward's backyard. But I don't see that fight happening. I really don't think that there's nothing there for him to come to Oakland when he has so many other names on the. Actually, Carl Froch has more options than Andre Ward at this point, and I don't know if he really needs Andre Ward, which is kind of sad considering that Andre Ward is the world champion at 168 pounds. I think he's going to probably fade off into the sunset, taking on the best that England and Europe has to offer, and that's fine because he's going to make big money doing this. They're going to be pay-per-view over there, and I don't think that I don't think he needs to come over here again. I think coming over here, fighting in Denmark, left a bad taste in his mouth.
So are we counting Kessler out altogether? You don't think he's going to come back stronger and have a number 3, Froch Kessler profit?
Kessler, in my opinion, has seen better days. I just don't think that his activity level has gone way down since he dropped out of the Super 6 tournament. I mean, what was he? I mean, I think he only had 13 total rounds of boxing since he dropped out of the Super 6 tournament up until last weekend.
What do you think, Prophet? What about Kessler?
Yeah, Kessler's skills have been diminishing over the past couple of years, which is the main reason why I picked Carl Froch to win the fight. And Kessler had said before going into the ring that if he had lost to Froch, he was going to retire. So we'll see if Kessler will live to fight another day, because if he sticks to his word, he won't step into the ring again. But with regard to what Richie said, I completely agree with him. Styles make fights. If Ward fights Carl Froch 10 times, he's going to beat him all 10 times. He has the perfect style to beat him. So I think it would behoove Froch to stay in England. He's a main attraction there. He can fight the local guys and make a hefty payday. And with regards to Hopkins, as much as I want to see it, the risk outweighs the reward, because with the mainstream media, you know what they're going to say. Oh, well, Bernard Hopkins had to get old at some point of his career overnight. So if Carl Froch dominates Hopkins and wins 10 out of the 12 rounds, it won't be because he did anything great. It will be because Hopkins got old overnight. Whereas, God forbid, Hopkins pulls off the upset, then Carl Froch's legacy is very, very badly damaged. So it's kind of a risque type of fight for Froch to take.
It's a lose-lose.
Absolutely. I agree with Richie. It's a lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose. That doesn't sound very enticing. So,
and he has never expressed any interest to go to 175 pounds. He's fought his entire career at super middleweight, and I don't think at 35, closing in at 36, that he has any interest in moving to light heavyweight now.
All right, guys, we are going to shift because we have on the phone here, we have Mikey Garcia here. How you doing, Mikey?
Hi, I'm doing fine, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, I'm glad you could be here. I call you Mikey, and it sounds so weird to me. I'm so used to Miguel. And you were telling me, why did you switch from Miguel to Mikey?
Yeah, well, when we turned pro, Top Rank, my promoter, asked, who I was, and, my manager and everybody else knew me as Mikey, Robert's little brother, Mikey, so it stuck, and that's actually what my family had always called me. They always call me Mike or Mikey, so it's nothing real new to me, but it is for the boxing, because I always use Miguel, in the amateurs, and, people were, used to call me Miguel, but, now in the pros, I go by Mikey, and it's fine. It's nice, for me. It's no big deal.
Didn't you say that Bob Arum kind of said, okay, we're going to call you Mikey?
Yeah, it was Bob who wanted to call me Mikey, and I would always tell them, make sure it's Miguel Angel Garcia or Miguel Garcia, but he kept pushing, no, it's gonna be Mikey, it's just Mikey, and he would write every paperwork, every contract, with Mikey Garcia, and so I just want to say, yeah, sure, I'll keep it like that then.
I guess you got the point. You want a contract? We're calling you Mikey.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
That's the way we're. Let me before we go on, because I got ahead of myself. Let me tell a little bit about you. Okay, so Miguel Mikey here, won 31, 26 KOs, never lost, never has any draws, and he is the WBO featherweight title holder of the world. And he is going to be fighting on June 15th against Juanma Lopez. And we're here, and you're actually here also with the Boxing Prophet and Reggie Jones. So if you hear guys all of a sudden talk, I don't want you to wonder what's going on. They're here to listen, and then they'll ask questions at the end. So how was the training today, Mikey?
Oh, very good. We're at the peak of training right now. These next 2 weeks are the most intense in the training camp. My brother Robert makes a trip from Oxnard to Riverside every day to help my dad and train me. It's just very, very hard work. Tomorrow is a sparring day, so tomorrow we'll be sparring, and my brother brings down sparring partners from Oxnard, and we also mix it in with a few guys here from the local area. And like today was just a big work with the mitts and technique, and tomorrow we'll be sparring. So like I said, these next couple of days will probably be the most intense in training, but everything's going well. I feel very, very comfortable. I think we're doing a very good job in training.
That's a lot of dedication Robert has, your brother, to come down here from, I don't know if anyone knows, I mean, going from Oxnard to Riverside, I'd say it's about probably 2 hours in Los Angeles traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, a little more than that with traffic.
Yeah.
With no traffic, it's just about 2 hours. But in the evening when he takes back home, He's probably doing close to 3 hours, due to traffic.
And that's
so
one way. That's amazing.
one way. Yeah, 3 hours one way. That's just the kind of dedication, like you say, that he has and wants to make sure that the job is well done. So I mean, it's hard work and on my part, but it's also work and discipline and just work for himself also.
Yeah, that's a good brother for you. And your dad, Eduardo, he's your trainer as well, isn't he?
Yes, he's my trainer. He's always been my main trainer since we started in the amateurs. My brother has always just kind of assisted in training, but most recent, he's getting a little older and a little tired, so he brings in my brother to do more of the physical work during the camp, during the most the intense weeks of camp, So that's why we bring Robert along.
I thought I saw a picture of your dad holding the mitts, though. Does he still hold? He still holds the mitts for you a little bit, doesn't he?
Yes, he still does it. He still does it, but now he'll do less rounds than before. Whenever my brother's not around, before a real training camp, when it's just kind of stay in shape, he will be the main trainer for me, and he's the only trainer for me. So until it's training camp, then Robert comes in and does most of the physical work.
So it's a whole family affair. That's really nice. You guys are a close group. And I remember your dad and, of course, your brother from the amateurs, because you had a very good career in the amateurs. But do you feel like your style is better for the pros?
Well, I
think
we had always had, I think we always had a little bit more of a professional approach to boxing and the style, like you said. So we turned pro, and I mean, I had a good amateur career, but I don't think that it was probably the best option for me, to continue in the amateurs. I turned pro at 18, which was still about 2 years before the Olympic team was composed. So I turned pro in 2006. The Olympics were until I think 2008. But I felt that I was ready to go pro, and that's where I really wanted, do my career, and that's where I had always wanted to do. So that's why we, go in the professional ranks now.
I was sad though, Miguel. I always liked you as an amateur, and my dream is always the Olympics, and I wanted you to stay for the 2008 Olympics. I was really bummed, but it wasn't nobody asked me. It wasn't my decision.
I also wanted to, as an amateur fighter, everybody wants to, make that Olympic team, and that's everyone's goal. But like I said, at that time, we had a very good opportunity to go in the pros, and we had a good opportunity to sign with Top Rank, and it just made sense for us. So we decided to, go ahead and turn pro.
All right. So if it was better for you, I'm happy for you. But now, has it been good? You're welcome. Has Top Rank treated you well? Do you feel, like you're coming along the way you should be?
Yeah, we since day one, we signed with Top Rank and the manager Cameron Duncan, along with my brother, who also co-manages me as well as training me. And I think we've been doing a very good job together. We have a very good team. Top Rank guided me and my career, the right way, and developed me and got the fights needed to develop me as a better fighter. One fight at a time. We took our time. We didn't rush things. Top Rank, I think, is one of the best promoters, if not the best promoter, to develop young fighters and guide them, and take their time with their fighters. So I think they're doing a really good job with me, and I'm very happy with the way things have worked out.
I'm glad that it looks like it's going well for you, especially by your record. But I want to ask you, I had Orlando Cruz on here on the radio a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking, because he's the number one contender. And I was just wondering why you decided on, Juanma instead of Orlando Cruz.
Well, both names were mentioned, and, it's really up to my manager and promoter to really decide. But when they approached me with the both names, I told my manager that I didn't have a preference. I didn't really, prefer one over the other. I told them that it's up to them to decide. And along with Top Rank and the manager and also HBO. They also play a big factor in who the opponent will be. They decided to go with Juanma Lopez. It made sense for the network more, and they felt that was a fight that they are more excited about. So we decided to go with him. And when they say, we want to do Lopez, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on that? It's up to you. Whatever you guys decide. That's your job. I'm just there to make sure that I get in shape and ready to fight. And I've also mentioned that, of course, I also do want to give the opportunity to Orlando Cruz. I know what it's like to be number one, ranked number one, for a title and have to wait, for that opportunity to come. But it's right now it's Lopez who's in front of me, and then maybe my next fight will be with Cruz. He deserves a shot at the title, and as a champion, I think it's our duty to make sure that they're given those opportunities, to the number one contenders. And I do feel that I want to make sure that I give him that opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. You took the words out of my mouth. But when I was talking to Orlando, he was thinking that number one, you're with different promoters. You're Top Rank, and he's with All Star Boxing. He also was saying that he feels that your brother may think that Orlando is too fast right now, and that he's southpaw, and that Orlando's very intelligent when he boxes. So he thought maybe you want to just kind of skip him for now, go to Juanma, and then see what happens.
No, well, I mean, they could, have their own opinion. They could think, that might have been a reason why we picked Lopez over him, but that's not the case. Like I said, it's also, HBO who also has a role in who gets to fight on the network, and along with the management and the promoter, HBO talks about the opponents, and sometimes the money's not right for a certain guy. In this instance, this case, for Cruz, they did offer Cruz, but they were gonna pay a lot less than what I was gonna get paid with Lopez. So they, Top Rank and my manager, decided to go with Lopez. It makes more sense right now to take advantage of what offer is there by HBO, than just have to make sure that I fight my mandatory challenger. We'll get to that point. Hopefully, like I said, maybe the next fight we'll do something with. But HBO also has a factor and plays a big role in deciding who gets to fight.
That's true. I know that. So it's like you have a little control and they have a lot of control. Is that uncomfortable sometimes for you, or are you just accepting of it?
Well, I accept that. I understand, boxing. We've been around boxing, since I was a little kid, and I've seen the careers with Robert and with Vargas and many other fighters. So I understand, the business, the politics, in the sport. So I'm just there to fight. Like I say, I'm not saying no to any opponent, and I'm pretty sure every fighter feels the same way. They're not gonna say no to any fight, but a lot of times, like, it's the manager or like the promoters or the network that decide to go with a different opponent, a different route. And I mean, we just have to know that that's what it is, and you gotta move forward with whatever you have in front of you.
That's true. Prophet, what do you think? I know you're probably chomping at the bit to ask a question here.
Yeah, well, first let me say, Mikey, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Being that I live in New York, back in January of this past year, I had the privilege of seeing you live and in person, and what I call a career-defining performance, knocking down Orlando Salido 4 times. And going into that fight, I had a Mikey Garcia dilemma. I didn't know if Mikey Garcia was more of a boxer or a puncher. I kind of thought that you suffered from like what I saw in the ring that night. What I saw in the ring that night, buddy, was a guy who punched with angles, showed great footwork, precision punching, and almost an instinctive sense of timing. Going into this fight again, it was the perfect performance, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the fight with Juan Manuel Lopez, after such a great performance, a coming-of-age performance, what could you possibly be working on in the gym to get better?
Well, there's always, different styles of fighting. You got different opponents, you got different styles that you got to prepare for. So in this case, for Lopez, we got to prepare a little differently. He doesn't fight like Salido. He's not the same fighter. So we got to make sure that we're preparing ourselves for Lopez and not, the way we fought Salido. But I do feel that there's more to my fight game than what people have seen. And I kept telling people, you haven't seen anything, before the Salido fight, nobody knew that I could box like that unless you're, in our circle, in the boxing circle, and you actually see me train, you'll know that I'm capable of doing a lot more. But for the general public, they never seen much of me except for, 2 or 3 fights on TV. And, that surprised a lot of people how I was able to really box Salido on the outside and be so effective and still have power in both hands and, clearly dominate. But for this fight, I think that they're going to have a chance to see another side of my boxing game. I got a few things that people still haven't seen, and, I think this is a good opportunity for me to show a little more of what I can do in the ring.
And with the names from junior featherweight all the way up to junior lightweight, Krysti spoke about maybe your future plans if you get by Lopez, which I think you will. You may be fighting Orlando Cruz, but people want to see names on your resume, and the 4 or 5 fighters obviously that come to mind. You have Nonito Donaire, you have Rigondeaux, you have Morris, you have Chris John, who's been featherweight champion forever, and you also have Yurioka Gamboa if you decide to move up. Which one of those names interests you the most for future fights?
Well, it's a little difficult to just mention, a name because it's, like, for example, the Abner Maris fight, people have been talking a little bit more about that recently after his performance with Ponce de Leon. But that's a fight that's probably not going to happen due to the promotional, disputes that, the companies, aren't working together, Golden Boy and Top Rank. So that's probably not going to happen. Chris John, I'm willing to go out there, but they're not offering any offer, to me or to my team. And if we were to offer something to them, they probably wouldn't come down here either. So that's another fight that's probably not happening. Donaire, if he decides to move up and weight, he's still with my brother. So it's one of those fights that, my brother's there, and in order for that fight to happen, he would have to leave my brother, and it would also have to be for a lot of money because he also wouldn't just leave my brother just for a fight, with me. He could make, great money fighting any other guy. He doesn't necessarily have to fight me, or I don't necessarily have to be fighting him. So it's a tough decision, but, I'm open to fighting anybody. And like I said, any fighter out there, they're also willing to fight anybody. It's just the promoters that need to really get together as a network. If I don't find anything else in 126, and there's already been a few talks about maybe moving up to the super featherweight division, and maybe fighting someone at 130. I also told him I do like the idea, but I do want to have the opportunity to come back to 126 and defend my featherweight title. If I do move up to 130, it would be to fight for a title, but I want to be able to come back and defend, whether it be with Orlando Cruz or whoever else is in line at 126. And so those are different things that we have talked about. But, all of those names are interesting. It just has to be done with the promoters.
It's amazing these days. Prophet, I was just going to say it's amazing these days how it's the promoters as well as, HBO. Are you an HBO fighter or are you a Showtime fighter? Are you what I mean? It's getting a little crazy. Yep. I want to see the fighters, that deserve to fight each other. What are you going to say, Prophet?
I just wanted, my last question is more of a comment, basically. It's a comment and a question, I guess. Being on Mikey, a lot of people, with the plethora of upsets that have taken place over the first 5.5 months of this year, and a lot of breakthrough performances, people always ask me, who's on your pound-for-pound list? So what I did basically, because, I have no life, is that I sat in front of my chair yesterday for 2.5 hours, and in chronological order, I put together the 30 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world as of May 27, 2013. And I don't know how long you're going to be on the program for, but I wanted you to know that as of right now, you are number 18 on my list, which means Mikey Garcia is the 18th best fighter in the world, pound for pound, according to the Boxing Prophet. I know that's something you could take home and tell the family. That's got to be enthralling for you, Mikey.
Oh, thanks. No,
is that
come on.
enthralling, Mikey?
Well, it's I gotta do more to show, just one performance ain't enough for me. I gotta make sure that I do more and keep performing, so that people really recognize me as pound for pound fighter. But I'm off to a good start, so thanks.
Richie Jones, do you have anything you want to ask Mikey?
Oh, hi, Mikey. I understand you're the WBO featherweight champion. I get that, and I realize you feel a certain obligation towards Orlando Cruz because he's your mandatory. But in my opinion, more importantly, you are the world featherweight champion by Ring Magazine. And Orlando Cruz isn't even ranked in their top 10. Couldn't you see giving up that title, holding on to the world featherweight champion as recognized by Ring Magazine and taking on the best of the best throughout the featherweight division? I realize that an Abner Mares fight won't happen, but there's quite a list of names in the featherweight division that aren't Golden Boy fighters that are promoted by others that will work with Top Rank.
Well, those are options still that we have to talk about more with my manager. But right now, as it is, I do want to make sure that I defend my title and keep my WBO title as well. Now, like you mentioned right now, I could vacate the WBO if that if that were to be the case, where I vacate the WBO and keep the featherweight world title by Ring Magazine. That could also happen. A lot of fighters end up doing that because their mandatory challenger. That fight is not a big fight. The networks don't want to pick it up, and it's not in the best interest for nobody. It's not in the best interest for the fighter or manager or promoter. So they end up vacating the title, and that's the likely scenario that could happen also in my situation. And if it does happen, I leave it up to my manager and promoter to decide what they want to do. If they want to vacate the title and they tell me that I have to do that there's no other option for me, then I'll probably have to do what they say and just make sure that I fight the other guys, like you said, on the list. There's other fighters there that will work with Top Rank. They might not be as known yet, but they are very good fighters, and that's why they're already on the list. And so definitely, those are scenarios that could come this way. And I'm willing to, like you said, I tell you, anybody who's in front of me, I'm willing to fight them. It's just they have to make it happen.
Do you feel that the rift, the little cat fight between Golden Boy and your promoter Top Rank, don't you feel that's really bad for boxing? It's denying the fans fights that we want to see.
Yeah, it could hurt a little bit because there are fights there that aren't getting made, and fans would love to see them. But you also have to know that the promoter, once he has a champion, it's he doesn't want to give it up to another promoter. I mean, the promoter makes money with having the champion in a stable of fighters. Golden Boy does almost the same thing that Top Rank does. He fights his fighters with his own stable of fighters. You got Mares fighting Ponce de Leon. They're actually both managed by the same guy, promoted by Golden Boy. They do the same thing. But Top Rank takes more for it. But it's basically the same thing. The promoter rather has the championship belt in house. And it does hurt the sport a little bit, but you just gotta know that that's what it is. I can't do much about it right now. Mayweather's fighting the guys that he wants to fight on Golden Boy shows, and most of them are all Golden Boy fighters or affiliated with Golden Boy. And it's just the way it's a business to the promoter first, and then part of the sport, and then they'll take care of the fans. That's just part of the business. That's just part of the politics in boxing.
Yep, it is part of the business and part of the politics. We know politics from the amateurs to the pros, don't we, Miguel?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Well, anything else that you want to tell us that you're doing, if it's outside of boxing, or any sponsors you want to mention or anything?
Yes. like I always say, I want to make sure I thank all the fans that have supported me and stayed behind me. It's been quite a journey. It took a little longer than expected, but now that we're here, I hope to give the fans, great performances every single time. I thank the sponsors that I have coming up for this fight. I'm having a few sponsors that I want to say thanks. Magna Charger, Superchargers for cars, Santi Wheels, Los Altos Boots, and BMB Plastic. They're gonna be my sponsors for this fight, and I'll be wearing their patches on my shorts and then their names on my corner jackets and everything. So, they're staying behind me, supporting me in that way. And everybody else that wants to follow me on, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, find me at Team Mikey Garcia. That's the name I have for my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you can also follow me there at Team Mikey Garcia. We can keep in touch that way also.
Miguel, it's been really nice talking to you. I appreciate that you take the time, and I wish you the best of luck in your fight coming up.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate all your support. From the amateurs till now, you've been a really good friend. So thank you, and thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, well, it's nice. It's really neat to be able to be in the amateurs and see someone like you that's actually a really nice guy as well as a great fighter, and then watch you as you grow, and that you stay the same, and you're nice and humble. And I appreciate your brother Robert, who's done so much for the sport, as well as your dad Eduardo. So thank you.
I already told them. You said hi, and of course they remember. They also say hi.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, your dad. They're both so nice. So I appreciate that, and thank you. And I hope you'll come back again after your fight and talk to us about it.
Well, you have my number, and you can always reach me and call me, and I'll definitely be on the show again.
I will. Thank you. Take care of yourself, and we are going to leave you, and we're going to go to a commercial. All right? Take care, Mikey. Miguel.
Thanks. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. We're going to go to a commercial. Thanks to Reggie Johnson and Mikey Garcia. Great interviews, great guys. And we're going to go to a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Miguel Cotto and his opponents, hopefully, and profits pound for pound. We're going to get it to 15. We're not going to get to 30, but we already heard what 18 is. So we will be back after the commercial break. Don't go away.
This is Real Combat Media Radio, com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the world's healthiest plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products online on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner at Real Combat Media store. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. This is episode 15. I'm your host, Krysti Rosario, here with the Boxing Prophet from New York City and Richie Jones from Las Vegas, Nevada. You can call us at 347-324-5998 or Twitter us at Real Combat Media or Facebook at Real Combat Media in the search bar or email us at realcombatmedia.com. And we are back. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what's going on this week before we move on. So Friday, May 31st, we have Melissa Hernandez versus Jelena Majenovic in 10 rounds featherweight division for Hernandez's WBC title. That's like a tongue twister. On June 1st, Saturday, we have David Sanchez versus Anthony Geraldo, 12 rounds junior bantamweight division. We also have Jessica Bopp versus Jessica Chavez in the 10 rounds junior flyweight division. I saw Jessica when she was an amateur in Argentina. That was quite nice. We also have in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Tion Kennedy versus Carlos Vinan, 10 rounds junior lightweight division. And we will do more of that in a little while. But I want to get to talking about Miguel Cotto. And I think he's going to box K9, but I'm not quite sure. Prophet, you heard anything?
Well, the rumor is that K9 is the leading guy at this point. I think Miguel Cotto probably can compete for the world title if he fights Ishe Smith, but I think his promoters and that B are doing something, I guess, noble, and they're in it for the money as well. Also, what a conflict of interest that is. I think if he beats K9, the plan is he gets a tune-up fight with K9, defeats him. Then instead of going after Canelo right away, he can face Ishe Smith. Hopefully he wins, and then he gets more money because all of a sudden Cotto Alvarez is not only a fight, it's a unification fight. That's, I still think Cotto has, not a lot left in his tank, but certainly he has enough skills left, even though they have been deteriorating over the past couple of years. He still has enough gas in his tank, I think, to beat K9 or Ishe Smith. Ishe Smith would be the tougher fight for Cotto because Ishe Smith is more of a boxer. He can move around the ring sort of like Austin Trout did against him and throw the jab and use a lot of foot movement. But the plan is, if he dispatches of K9, I believe the fight would take place in September at either the Garden or the Barclays Center. I'm not sure, but then hopefully he fights Ishe Smith before he fights Canelo, thus making the Canelo fight a unification bout and generating more money for both Canelo and Cotto.
Well, on BoxRec, it says actually that Cotto is fighting on September 28th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, near you, Cornelius Bundridge, K9. So I don't know if that means, to me, it looks pretty official. But we will go through our list anyways. What about him fighting Pacquiao again? What do you think of that?
I don't think it's in his best interest to fight Pacquiao. Pacquiao is already fighting Brandon Rios in China.
Yeah.
I believe it's sometime in November. I don't even know. I'm assuming Pacquiao wins that fight. To me, everyone's talking about how Pacquiao's going to beat Brandon Rios with relative ease. I don't see that at all. I see that fight being a war and a life and death type of brawl for Pacquiao. But Pacquiao dominated Cotto in such one-sided fashion in their first fight. Unless he's really only in it for the money, I don't think he should fight a guy like Pacquiao. Personally, I think Cotto should retire. I think his resume speaks for himself. I think eventually one day he will be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And I think at this stage of his career, he's got nothing left to prove. But, he's a very prideful man. He wants to go out with a significant victory. And I think, personally, if he gets by Bundridge and he beats E.J. Smith, he should go out as champion. There's no need to unify the belts by taking a calculated risk against a young kid in his prime like Canelo Alvarez. But like I said, Cotto might have too much pride for his own good. But ultimately, all roads lead to a Cotto-Canelo super fight down the road is what that's the feeling I get.
Cotto Canelo, what do you think, Richie?
I don't think Ishe Smith gets by Carlos Molina on July 19th. I think Carlos Molina, he is such an underrated fighter, and he's not going to let this opportunity pass him by. I think he is just going to, I don't think he'll knock out Ishe Smith. He's not a big power puncher, but I think that he is going to just dominate Ishe Smith, and Ishe Smith will be a former champion without any successful title defenses. I don't see Carlos Molina losing to Smith unless he gets robbed.
All right, well, let's see some other names. Austin Trout. What about Austin Trout again for Cotto?
I don't know if that fight really makes a lot of sense because I don't see any difference in that fight. It was a pretty good fight, but Austin Trout he just seemed to be one step ahead of him all night. I don't know if Miguel Cotto is anywhere near where he was when he beat Zab Judah a few years ago, etc. And I know that I know he wants to get some wins before he retires, and yeah, absolutely, I agree with the Prophet. He is the first year he's eligible for the Hall of Fame, he should be inducted, no question about that. But he's seen better days, and I think that Austin Trout is all bad for him. He's just all wrong for him. I would rather see him go in there and swap punches with James Kirkland. Kirkland will be right there to be hit. He's not real stable anyway. Plus, I think that makes for a very good fight.
What do you think, Prophet?
I agree with everything Richie just said, especially with Molina against Ishe Smith. I forgot about that, but let's remember that Floyd Mayweather now promotes Ishe Smith. So unless Molina wins 10 out of the 12 rounds or 9 out of the 12 rounds convincingly by hook or by crook, Ishe Smith is going to retain that title. I wouldn't mind seeing the winner of Juan Manuel Marquez, Timothy Bradley, maybe either moving up or fighting Miguel Cotto at a catch weight, especially if it's Juan Manuel Marquez. Juan Manuel Marquez is great, but he's no spring chicken, and that would be a war of attrition with those two guys. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight either.
Plus, that would spark the whole Mexican-Puerto Rican rivalry.
And there's nothing better than the Mexican Puerto Rican rivalry in boxing is equivalent to the Yankees and the Red Sox in baseball and Duke, North Carolina in basketball. It's what all us diehard boxing fans live for.
Okay, I'm going to throw out another name. Okay, Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen. What do you think? Prophet?
I kind of think Peter Quillen, he's got the talent to beat Miguel Cotto. If the fight was signed for tomorrow, I think I may actually pick Quillen. He's kind of a cutie like Austin Trout, but he's got more power than Trout.
Did you say he's a cutie? Wait, Prophet. Did you say he's a cutie?
Yes.
Like cutie, like I look good cutie? I'm cute?
No. Cutie.
Stylistically.
Yeah, stylistically. I got that term.
I have not heard that term. I thought you were just thinking he's cute. I think Cotto's cute, but okay, here we go.
Well, you have...
No, but Cotto's not cute stylistically.
I know,
yeah, so
I'm just kidding.
Krysti,
Gotcha.
Rest assured, you have good taste in men, Krysti. Cotto is a better-looking man than Quillen. I got that term from Harold Letterman. He called
why don't
guys
why don't you tell us what cutie means? Define it for the people who may not know what cutie, in your terms, means.
Cutie's a guy who moves around the ring, throws a jab as a rangefinder, and uses a lot of foot movement. That's what Austin Trout did against Cotto. Peter Quillen's a little bit like that. He's also got a lot more power than Austin Trout. And Peter Quillen, at this stage of his career, isn't really a named fighter. Other than diehard boxing fans, no one really knows who he is. And I think that Miguel Cotto, at this advanced stage of his professional career, wants to fight a really, really big name that generates a lot of money before he fades off into the sunset. And Quillen's not that guy.
Okay. Well, before we lose out on any other chances to hear Prophet's pound for pound, we have to get into that because we only have about 6.5 minutes left. So maybe we'll bring this topic back next week. I do want to mention, though, that next week we have a really good interviews as well. We have Roy Engelbrecht, who is a promoter, and I'm sure most of you know who I'm talking about, and Ann Wolfe. So if you don't know who Ann Wolfe is, please Google her. She is an amazing fighter, and she will be here, world champion, next week as well. So I'm going to give you the floor, Prophet, to talk about your pound-for-pound list.
Well, with all the upsets that have transpired over the past couple of months and breakthrough performances, people always have a pound-for-pound list. So what I did was I put together my top 30 pound-for-pound, but due to time constraints, I'm going to give you what I call my Sweet 16, 16 best fighters in the world pound-for-pound as of right this second. And the criteria is basically you have to put people in the seats. You have to be very, very talented. It's basically also what have you done for me lately type of thing. But most of all, I look for resume, a guy that has big names on his resume also. So those four things make up my pound-for-pound list real quickly. I have to get to number 16. Number 16 is Danny Garcia. Number 15, the best fighter that no one's seen, junior flyweight champion Roman Gonzalez, who's an absolute beast, and you'll be hearing a lot from him in the up-and-coming years. Number 14 is Adrian Broner. Number 13, Nonito Donaire. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. After being embarrassed by Rigondeaux, he plummets all the way. Number 12, Timothy Bradley. Number 11, with his breakthrough performance against Lamont Peterson, the guy's an absolute beast, and soon to crack my top 10 if he continues to fight at this level. Lucas Matisse is number 11. Going to number 10, Rigondeaux, based on his epic performance against Donaire and his amateur pedigree, Rigondeaux is number 10 on my list. Moving to number 9, Vitaly Klitschko, the older Klitschko brother, still one of the best heavyweights out there in the game today. Number 8, Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people will say, why after 2 consecutive losses is Pacquiao even in your top 10? The powers that be know that Pacquiao beat Timothy Bradley, and he was essentially on his way to beating Juan Manuel Marquez before Marquez landed the shot heard around the world. So before everyone berates me for putting Pacquiao in the top 10, remember that he did beat Timothy Bradley Jr. for all intents and purposes. So he stays in my top 10 at number 8. Number 7 is Carl Froch. The guy beat Kessler last week. His resume speaks for itself. He's pretty much beaten every solid super middleweight in the world with the exception of Andre Ward. So Froch is number 7. Number 6 is Abner Morris. The guy is just, he cleaned out the Super 6 tournament on Showtime. He moved up and beat Ponce de Leon. The sky's the limit for Abner Morris. He won super fights. He's in a super fight basically every time he steps into the ring. And like Carl Froch, he fights the best of the best. So Abner Morris is a very impressive number 6 on my list. Number 5, taking a step back, is Sergio Martinez. Before everyone cries foul, why isn't Martinez in your top 3 pound-for-pound list? Let's not number 3 on your list. Let's not forget that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. left him for dead in the 12th round, and I really thought that he got a gift against Martin Murray. But because of his resume, Sergio Martinez stays at number, or just is at number 5. Number 4 is the best heavyweight in the world, Vladimir Klitschko. He's only second behind Joe Louis and Larry Holmes for most successful heavyweight title defenses. That's got to count for something. Number 3, Juan Manuel Marquez. He fights the best. He fought Pacquiao 4 times. He fought Mayweather. Next he's going to fight Tim Bradley. All the guy does is fight the best. Probably the best Mexican fighter I've ever seen. Better than Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., and that's saying something. Number 2, a lot of people are going to give me flack for this, but contrary to what some people believe, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is not the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Beating Victor Ortiz and Robert Guerrero back-to-back doesn't cut it, Floyd. You got to fight the best of the best. You got to take a calculated risk, and that's why my best pound-for-pound fighter in the world is the best super middleweight in the world. Andre Ward is number 1. Not only did he waste the division with decisive victories over the likes of Miguel Kessler, Carl Froch, and various other fighters, he moved up to light heavyweight and dominated the best light heavyweight in the world in Bad Chad Dawson. That's what great fighters do, Floyd. So Floyd Mayweather Jr., number 2. Andre Ward, number 1. And that's my Sweet 16, Krysti. And let me just say that if anyone wants to argue that this guy should be higher or this guy should be lower, you can hit me up on Twitter, Richard Solomon, and my handle on Twitter is BoxingProfit68. I love to spar with all the critics and all the naysayers. And if you want to throw some compliments too, that's
we have 47 seconds left, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you, Profit, for pound. Thank you, Reggie Jones, for being here, you guys. Have a good day, and don't leave us, though. You guys, I'll see you guys later. All right, so we are going to be leaving this episode of Real Combat Media Boxing Radio, but we will be back next Tuesday, 4 to 6 on the West Coast. Okay, so make sure that you come back. We'll have Roy Engelbrecht and Ann Wolf. It'll be a fantastic show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.